Good day everyone. I am Al-Muqtadir Manila, taking Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Science 3, and today with my co-reporter, Ms. Krisha Pilecio, we will explore you on the second type of rock, which is sedimentary rock. After this lesson, you will able to identify the features of sedimentary rocks, including strata and fossils. Differentiate between the three major processes of lithification, and you will able to name the three different types of sedimentary rocks and describe their characteristics. Since we already have an idea about three general classification of rocks, the question is, what is sedimentary rock and what makes it different from other types of rocks? Sedimentary rocks are one of the three basic types of rock, with other two being igneous and metamorphic. However, of the three types of rock, only sedimentary rock containing fossils. So, yun yung unique characteristic ni sedimentary, they contain fossil na siyang ginagamit ng mga geologists and even scientists para mapag-aralan yung mga past events happened million years ago. So, sa pamamagitan ng mga fossil, nagkakaroon ng hint or clues yung mga geologists kung ano ba yung mga nangyari noong unang panahon or ano ba yung mga animals na existed noong unang panahon na hindi na nag-i-exist ngayon. Tulad ng dinosaur, through fossil, nalaman ng scientists or geologists na yung dinosaur, they exist in the past years or million years ago. So, sedimentary rock made up about 3/4 of all rocks on the Earth's surface. So, almost or 75% ng bato sa mundo ay nabibilang in this type of rock. However, I can give you a bit of hint, and that is that all rock types are classified by the way they form. So, in the case of sedimentary rock, we see that they mainly form from sediments that get compacted or cemented together. So, sediments can be defined as fragments of organic or inorganic material that have been broken down, and sedimentary rock ay nabubuo from pre-existing rock na mga bato. Ito yung mga malalaking bato kapag natamaan ng mga natural forces such as wind, water, ice, or even the gravity, they broken into pieces. It is also known as weathering. Kung nakahawak man kayo or nakakita man kayo ng sedimentary rock, that rock might actually contain little weather pieces of pre-existing rocks, or it could have fragments of cell or minerals rather, or even the remains of plants and animals. So, these fragments settle in areas on the surface of Earth at the bottom of a body water and get squeezed and glued together over time, forming strata or the layers of sediments. So, yung broken pieces rock na yun, they move, and there are a lot of ways for rock to be moved, such as wind, water, ice, gravity, etc. So, this movement of rock caused by the natural forces ay tinatawag natin erosion. And they come to rest on the surface, usually nangyayari sa riverside, lake, and top of the rock. So, over the years, they glued together to form strata or the layers of sediments. And as we can see, these layers of sediment, para siyang cake with many layers. At kagaya ng layer ng cake, yung sedimentary rock have varying colors from one layer to the next. So, magkakaiba yung kulay ng bawat layers ng sedimentary rock. So, these changes in color provide clues about the rock. Specifically, it tells you that these sediments within those different color layers contain different minerals. And therefore, it is originated from different rocks or different locations. So, you can get more clues by studying these layers based on the shape of different sediment grains. So, halimbawa, if you found round grains, then you could assume that this sediment arrived in its final resting place via water, which rolled and tumbled the particles, causing the edges to smooth. Sedimentary rock preserve a record of history because of the way they form and comprise of bits of pre-existing rocks or minerals, and some even contain bits of organic materials such as plants and animals remain. So, hindi lang pala sa mga pre-existing na rock nabubuo ang sedimentary rock. Ito ay pwede din mabubuo sa pamamagitan ng mga organic materials tulad ng bone, skeleton, cells, and coal, or the coal is coming from the result of the plants. So the formation of strata, along with the ability to preserve fossils, are two distinct features of sedimentary rocks. Kasi sa ibang type of rock, gaya ni igneous and metamorphic, they do not contain fossil and strata. So, as I said earlier, sedimentary rock is created when little pieces of sediment, gaya ng mga pebbles, sand and clay, join together. But the question is, how do these little pieces of sediment stick to each other to form a solid rock? Paano kaya? Kung curious kayo kung paano, try to go down to beach and pick a handful of sand and try to squeeze the sand grains together really hard. Diba once we open it, the sand will run through our fingers, just like the picture on the left side. O di kaya, try weighting the sand with water and build house or anything you want. Diba, it will hold the sand together, pero panandalian lang. Kasi once na nag-evaporate yung tubig, the sand grains will once again separated. So there must be some tricks to get sediment to combine and form as solid rock. Ito ay tinatawag nating lithification. Lithification, which is the process by which sediments combine to form sedimentary rock. So, sa pamamagitan ng lithification, nabubuo ang tinatawag na sedimentary rocks. So, there are many ways to para mabuo or mabuo yung mga sediments to a solid rock. So, sedimentary rock, or the term lithification, is derived from the Greek word lithos, which means rock. So, we are really looking at the making of rock when we study lithification. So, there are two main ways of that lithification occurs: compaction and cementation. We will also attach on the third way that is important to some sediments called recrystallization. Pag sinabing compaction, It is the consolidation of sediment due to take intense pressing weight of one lying deposit. Yes, once na yung sediment or small pieces of rock nagsama-sama with sufficient pressure, yung sediment grains nare-rearrange at nagiging organized through the years. So, yung mga pore spaces na nagdi-divide sa kanila ay nababawasan, and any water that was in those spaces is squeezed out, na itataboy niya. So, once na nagiging compact na siya, so, nababawasan na yung spaces. Then, yung mga water, they naghihiwalay or even evaporated. So, we see compaction with all sizes of sediment grains. Pero in terms of mga larger sediment, gaya ng pebbles, they do not successfully compact as successfully gaya ng mga maliliit na sediment tulad ng sand at clay. Because larger grains are harder to pit. Halimbawa, i-compare natin pebbles at sand, then ilagay natin siya sa bowl as illustrated there. Kung mapapansin natin, di ba it is easy to see compaction work better for smaller grain sediment? So, yung compaction, nagiging successful siya sa mga maliliit na sediment tulad ng sand at clay. So, unlike dun sa mga larger sediments, meron pa din mga species or pore spaces na nagdi-divide sa kanila. Another way identification of sediment occurs is through cementation. Cementation is the process by which dissolved minerals crystallize and glue sediment grains together. So, it is an easy term to remember if you think of it like you would a bag of cement. Di ba ang mga construction worker, gumagamit sila ng powdery cement and ginamix nila ito in water to bind particles together. So, ganun din sa formation of rock, there are mineral cement or mga elements na ginagamit to bind to form in solid rock. But in the case of sedimentary rock, they bound together to be liquefied by mineral cement, gaya ng sabi ko, such as calcium compound, silica, and iron cement. So, in regards sa mga large sediment, gaya ng mga boulder, pebbles, they bound together by silica. They are called calcium carbonate. So, over time, they compress and squeeze together and get compacted and liquefied to form solid rock. So, halimbawa nito ay ang sandstone, which is result from the formation of sand. So, yung sandstone, so, nanggagaling pala siya, or yung formation, or nanggagaling pala siya sa sand, or yung buhangin. We also mention the third way liquefaction occurs, and that is recrystallization. So, this is the process by which unstable minerals recrystallize into stable minerals, causing grains to bind together. So, from the word itself, it is already crystallized, pero unstable pa siya. So, one function of this recrystallize is to make stable those grains, sediment grains, unstable, and through that, it is bind together. So, once nag-bind sila, and then they're forming strata or the layers of the sediments. So that's all for today. Because for the continuation, which is the 3 types of rock, sedimentary stratification and sedimentary environment, will explain to you by Miss Krisha Pilecio. So thank you for listening.